I thought all fats were bad until a health scare forced me to learn the truth. What I discovered changed everything about how I eat and how I feel. The difference between healthy and unhealthy fats isn't just about weight. It's about your entire well-being. Have you ever looked at the nutrition label on your food and immediately felt guilty when you saw the fat content? For years, I did the same thing. I put back that avocado, skipped the olive oil, and reached for the fat-free options instead. But what if I told you that this approach, the one many of us were taught for decades, might actually be hurting our health? My journey with dietary fats began 3 years ago when my doctor delivered news I wasn't prepared to hear. My cholesterol levels were dangerously high, and my inflammation markers were concerning. At 42, I was facing potential heart problems if I didn't make changes. The confusing part? I had been following what I thought was a healthy, low-fat diet for years. The problem isn't that you're eating fat, my doctor explained. It's that you're eating the wrong kinds of fat and missing out on the fats your body actually needs. That conversation was the beginning of a complete transformation in how I understood nutrition. Today, I want to share what I've learned about the crucial difference between healthy and unhealthy fats. Knowledge that has not only improved my blood work, but has given me more energy and better overall health than I've had in years. The fat phobia that led us astray. The 1980s and 90s ushered in an era of fat phobia in nutrition. Food companies responded by removing fat from products and replacing it with sugar and refined carbohydrates. We were told fat makes you fat and causes heart disease. This oversimplification led to some of the worst dietary advice in modern history. What we now understand is that dietary fat is not a single entity. It's a complex range of molecules with vastly different effects on our bodies. Some fats are indeed harmful, while others are absolutely essential for health. The key is knowing the difference, understanding the fat family. Fats can be broadly categorized into 4 main types. Saturated fats, found primarily in animal products like meat and dairy, but also in some plant foods like coconut oil. Unsaturated fats. These include monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats found in plant oils, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. Trans fats, partially hydrogenated oils that are mostly artificial, though small amounts occur naturally in some animal products. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, special types of polyunsaturated fats that play critical roles in brain function and cell growth. When I first started learning about these different types, I felt overwhelmed. How could something as seemingly simple as fat be so complex? But understanding these distinctions turned out to be the key transforming my health. The heroes, healthy fats and their benefits. Let me tell you about the fats that actually deserve a place of honor in your diet. Monounsaturated fats. These were the first healthy fats I incorporated back into my diet. Found abundantly in olive oil, avocados, and many nuts, monounsaturated fats help reduce bad cholesterol levels while maintaining good cholesterol. They're also rich in vitamin E, which protects cells from damage. I remember the first time I allowed myself to enjoy a whole avocado without guilt. It felt revolutionary and delicious. Within weeks of adding these foods back into my diet, I noticed improvements in my skin texture and energy levels. Polyunsaturated fats. These include the essential omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids that our bodies cannot produce on their own. Found in fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, walnuts, flax seeds, and certain vegetable oils. These fats are crucial for brain function and cell growth. The research on omega-3s is particularly impressive. Studies show they can reduce inflammation, lower heart disease risk, and even help with depression and anxiety. When I started taking fish oil supplements and eating salmon twice a week, the chronic joint pain I've been experiencing for years began to subside. Medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, found in coconut oil and palm kernel oil, MCTs are metabolized differently than other fats. They go straight to the liver where they can be used as an immediate energy source rather than being stored as fat. Many people find they provide sustained energy without the crash that comes from carbohydrates. I started adding a tablespoon of coconut oil to my morning coffee and noticed I could work through the morning without the hunger pangs that used to plague me. The villains, unhealthy fats to avoid. Not all fats deserve a place at your table. Some can significantly harm your health, when consumed regularly. Trans fats. If there's one type of fat that deserves its bad reputation, it's trans fats. These are primarily man-made through a process called hydrogenation, which turns liquid oils into solid fats to extend shelf life. Trans fats simultaneously raise your bad cholesterol, LDL, and lower your good cholesterol, HDL, a dangerous combination that increases risk for heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. They're found in many processed foods like margarine, packaged snacks, fried foods, and baked goods. When I cleaned out my pantry, I was shocked to find how many of my convenient foods contain partially hydrogenated oils. Reading ingredients lists became my new habit, and I ruthlessly eliminated these harmful fats from my diet. Certain saturated fats. The science on saturated fats is more nuanced than we once thought. While they're not the nutritional villains they were once portrayed as, consuming too much of certain saturated fats, particularly those from processed meats and fried foods, can still contribute to heart disease risk. What I've learned is that the source matters. The saturated fat in a processed sausage patty is not the same as the saturated fat in a pasture-raised egg. Context, quality, and quantity all matter. Finding the right balance. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that fat ratios matter just as much as types. The typical Western diet contains far too many omega-6 fatty acids and not enough omega-3s. This imbalance promotes inflammation in the body, which is linked to heart disease, cancer, and autoimmune disorders. Ideally, we should consume omega-6 and omega-3 fats in a ratio of about 4-to-1. In reality, many Americans consume them in a ratio closer to 20-to-1 due to the prevalence of vegetable oils in processed foods and the relative scarcity of omega-3 rich foods in our diets. I started addressing this imbalance by switching from vegetable oils to olive oil, avocado oil, and occasionally coconut oil. Eating fatty fish at least twice a week. Adding flax seeds and chia seeds to my morning smoothie. Taking a high-quality fish oil supplement. Practical tips for incorporating healthy fats. Changing your relationship with dietary fat doesn't have to be overwhelming. Here are some practical steps that work for me. Replace. Don't just remove. Instead of focusing on cutting out unhealthy fats, focus on replacing them with healthy alternatives. Swap butter for avocado on your toast, or use olive oil instead of vegetable oil in your cooking. Read labels carefully. Trans fats might be listed as partially hydrogenated oils in the ingredients list. Even if the nutrition facts say 0G trans fat, products can contain up to 0.5 G per serving and still make this claim. Focus on whole foods. The healthiest fats come packaged in whole foods like avocados, nuts, seeds, and fish, not in processed products with health claims on the label. Don't fear fat, but do portion it. Healthy fats are still calorie dense. A tablespoon of olive oil contains about 120 calories. Use measuring spoons until you get comfortable with visual portioning. Cook wisely. Different fats have different smoke points. Extra virgin olive oil is best for low-heat cooking or drizzling on finished dishes, while avocado oil can withstand higher temperatures. My results. Within 6 months of reshaping my approach to dietary fats, my blood work told a new story. My total cholesterol decreased, but more importantly, my HDL good cholesterol increased while my LDL bad cholesterol and triglycerides went down. My doctor was impressed, and I felt vindicated in my new approach. Beyond the numbers, I experienced more stable energy throughout the day, improved skin condition, better satiety after meals with fewer cravings, reduced joint pain and inflammation, improved concentration and mental clarity. I'm not saying that healthy fats are a miracle cure for everything, but they've certainly played a central role in my health transformation. The right fats are not something to fear. They're essential tools for building a healthy body and mind. The takeaway: fat isn't the enemy. In fact, the right fats are allies in your quest for better health. The key is learning to distinguish between those that heal and those that harm. If you're still clinging to low-fat products and avoiding all dietary fat, I encourage you to reconsider. Your body needs fat, not just for energy, but for hormone production, nutrient absorption, cell membrane integrity, and brain health. The quality and type of fat you consume matters far more than the total amount. My journey from fat-phobic to fat-informed has been one of the most important health transitions of my life. I hope sharing what I've learned helps you make informed choices about the fats in your diet. What changes have you made to your diet that had unexpected health benefits? Have you had experiences similar to mine with dietary fats? Click subscribe if you want more evidence-based nutrition content that cuts through the myths and fads. Comment below with your biggest questions about healthy versus unhealthy fats, and I'll address them in future videos. Remember, nutrition isn't about perfection. It's about making better choices most of the time. Here's to your health, one healthy fat at a time.